result. A Seder plate. Isn't that pretty?
Yes.
I know, isn't it great, Zoe? Alright, so you have the makings of our Seder plate right in front of you. But first, we have to talk about what a Seder plate does, why do we have it, and where does it go. So my question to you is, what makes a great story? Right.
Lots of details.
Details. EJ.
Basically, you have to have a problem and a solution.
Excellent. A problem and a solution. Mine.
Adjectives about a character.
Adjectives.
Explaining characters and like things that'll catch the reader.
Exactly. Something to hold our attention, right? Maya?
The beginning, the middle, and the end.
A beginning, middle, and an end. Beautiful. Who had their hand? Lucy. Beautiful. And you know what, Lucy? That brings us to what we're doing. Hold on, I'll get to you guys. You can put your hands down, but I'll call on you. We need to look at the Passover story in different ways. We need to see it. We need to smell it, to taste it, to feel it, to use all of our senses, right? So that's what the Seder plate does. It gives us a visual of our entire story. And I happen to have a puzzle Seder plate right here. A Seder plate. It's a puzzle, yeah, isn't it cool?
I can see it.
So when we come back after spring break, after you guys come back from spring break, I'll bring you my Seder plate and some other ones so you can see how different Seder plates are. But for now, I thought this would be great to show you. And this is what we're going to make. But it's going to look really pretty in these different colors. So we have all of these elements that you said. Marshall, what were you going to add?
About stories.
Uh-huh.
You have to have a great mind, and you have to know what you're doing.
Right. You have to have a great mind and know what you're doing. Riley? Beautiful. It has to have tone, which gives it texture and gives it a rhythm. It keeps it from being bland. Eisen?
It needs to have the ideas in the right order. You can't say the person went home and happy ever after, and then once upon a time.
The right order. So what did we do at the beginning of the day today? What did we sing? Ellie?
I wasn't reading.
Olivia? We did the 4 questions. And what did we do before the 4 questions? Zachary? We did Hatikva, and what did we do after Hatikva? Isaac?
We did the order of Passover.
Exactly. We did the order. So we did this. We sang the order, we made our hand motions to it, and this is how it's going to get us to our story. Like Lucy said, this is the parts of our story. And the Seder plate, like Riley said, this is our tone. This is the texture. Now, what makes up a Seder plate? On everybody's table, I had page 4 up front, up in like this. We were all ready to go. So if you don't have your Haggadah, turn to page 4. Jonathan.
One main thing that you need for a Seder plate is a plate.
Beautiful.
You can't have a Seder plate if it's not a plate.
Exactly.
You can't have it on a cow's back.
You can have it on a what?
You can't have it on like a cow's back.
No, you can't do
A
that.
horse's back.
You can't have it on a camel's back. You can't have it on a horse's back.
Seder plate. How does he a Seder plate if it's not on a plate?
it have to be porcelain? Does it have to be glass? Can it be cardboard?
Yes.
Absolutely. Riley.
He said yes. You don't have to have porcelain.
All right. So you know what? Riley is just moving us along.
Oh, you have to get that.
So, what is the green vegetable called, Riley? Do you remember? It's not called bitter herbs yet. Karpas. Okay, so on our Seder plates, we're going to practice writing our Hebrew, and we're going to write it in English, the transliteration, or the transliteration, yes, transliteration of karpas, and what it is, green veggie, or you can draw it on your Seder plate. So, karpas, why a green veggie? And Riley's right, it doesn't have to be parsley. What could it be? Lettuce, celery, good. Maya? Broccoli, absolutely.
I think broccoli.
Spinach. Maya? Any green veggie. And what does it symbolize? Isaac?
Does it symbolize like the earth because it's green?
Yeah, why not? Absolutely. Ellie?
Doesn't it symbolize the hard years that we had in the desert?
Not yet. We're getting there. We're getting there. Not yet. But what does a green leafy veggie tell you? Especially on a day like today. Riley? Alive and bright. Maya? Happiness. You guys are getting closer. Marshall?
I was just saying, can we put each thing in any part of the place we want?
There's actually an order to it. And we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Don't worry. Toby.
Laughter.
What?
Laughter.
Laughter. You're getting closer. Isaac.
Green vegetables are healthy, so it symbolizes that you're helping.
Healthy?
You're healthy.
Yes. What's around the corner? Lucy.
Oh.
Maya.
Freedom?
Freedom? Absolutely. Freedom, and today gave us a little taste of it with the beautiful weather and the sun. Toby?
Spring.
Spring, yay!
Freedom of the press.
Freedom of the press. So, karpas is a green vegetable that reminds us of newness, of renewal, of spring, of something that tastes good. And when we first got to Egypt, who met us in Egypt? Who was the one who brought us? Toby. Remember we talked about Joseph, yay! And Pharaoh, because Joseph was Pharaoh's helper, brother, not brother. No, you're thinking of Moses, the story. Back to Joseph. Joseph was Pharaoh's
First in command.
second in command.
I meant second.
Yes. And so there was a famine, and Joseph invited all of his family to come live with him, right? They made up, and he said, come live with us. And our lives in Egypt were wonderful. It was a renewal. There was lots to eat. It was fun. Joseph's my brother. Joseph's my uncle. You know, we had status, right? And then, as the years went on, and the people forgot about who Joseph was, it got a little harder. And then it got even a little more harder when the Pharaoh decided that we were too numerous. There was too many Israelites there, and it was time to do something about it because he was afraid of us, right? Do you remember why he was afraid of us? Ellie?
Well, I mean, a lot of the time, at that age, before being overthrown a lot, he was afraid that we would overpower them and then overthrow
Bingo. Beautiful. So, our green leafy vegetable grew and became hatser. It became our second green leafy vegetable that's a little older, which could be romaine lettuce, which when you first start eating it, it's really yummy, it's crisp, but then when you start to get to the rib part down at the bottom, it's a little bitter. And life in Egypt started to get bitter, right? It started to get hard. What happened to us? Marsha.
We became slaves, and then she made all the boy babies go down the river, go down the Nile.
Well, not good. He wanted to throw the boy babies into the Nile, right? Isaac? And there were crocodiles. Excellent. All right. Beautiful. You guys are doing really well. Yes, Riley.
We also dip them in salt water because it represents the sweat and tears of when you were a slave.
That is awesome. Did everyone hear Riley?
No.
Can you tell them down that way, Riley?
Well, you dip the parsley in salt water because it represents the sweat and tears of when you were slaves.
Also, that was a good question too. Riley, you are just being the perfect person for me to move from thing to thing. Salt water. Why do we cry? Because we're sad? Thank you, Ben. Why else do we cry? Toby?
Because we miss someone?
Because we miss somebody? Maya?
Because our first one was being boys being thrown to the river.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Olivia? Because we're happy? EJ?
Because you're getting whipped in the back over and over.
Slavery is hard and painful. Absolutely. Isaac?
When it hurt?
When you're hurt? Maya?
Because the people before you want treated the way you want to.
Exactly. Because you have empathy. Good. Yes.
Because they're mad.
Because you're mad. And Isaac?
I have a question. So, is this sort of about slaves in general? What do you do if you're born? I know, what do you do if you're in the Egyptians? What would they make kids do if they're born into slavery?
That's a really good question. What do you guys think? Do you think as a baby you have to do something to earn your keep?
No, I mean, no.
Okay. And I don't think I understand your question.
Well, I mean, I know like the African Americans, they made them maybe, I don't know, but they made them. But did the Egyptians make children, like at the age, my age, work? No?
Absolutely.
What did they do?
You guys would have to go and get the water to make the mud, or you would have to cut the grain and put it into the mud, or you would just be gophers. You would go and get the stuff that the men and the women needed to make the bricks, to make the pyramids.
Actually, I think the women did all the working and the men took care of the women.
Not in this story. But the other stories, absolutely. So tears. What do tears do in your life? Like, do you remember a time in your lives when you cried and you remember why you cried and you remember the emotion and what happened? Maya?
Yeah, I cried at the time because I knew really hard and I was thinking
It's a traumatic experience for you, wasn't it? Marsha?
when my little sister, she jumped on me, and because sometimes I would be so tired and then she runs on me, and she smacked me right in the head because sometimes that I was like, ow! Because because, like,
But she doesn't have control of
the
her
only
arms,
time-
right?
the only time she can hurt me is if she smacks me as hard as she can. That's the only
She's
time.
very little, not
And she
quite.
smacked me, like, so hard, I, like, almost.
You saw stars, right?
I was, like, it hurt so hard, and then was like, ow, and I, like, got up, and then, like, nearly threw her off.
I'm glad you didn't. But yes,
Like, she was, like, she, like, fell right off of me, but she was, like, on the ground, but she was, like, but she wasn't hurt.
good.
She
Thank you.
just,
So
snapped
that's
herself
how
out.
your sister was acting like a slave driver and keeping you going. Isaac.
When my great-grandmother died,
So yes, you remember that. Your tears added to the moment. Sloan. Your brother yelled at you. EJ.
when during Christmas break 3 years ago, my cousin died at 21.
Your cousin died?
Yeah.
Oh, that is so
And I
hard.
heard about it right when I woke up. No, Christmas break.
So tears add to a story, right? And they enhance the story and give it tone and texture and help you remember. I remember when I was in front of the judge, and the judge said, "Mr. and Mrs. Eisen, I am pleased to award you guardianship of your son, Benjamin Joseph Samuel Eisen." And that was the first time he was called that when we adopted him. And I had tears streaming down my eyes, and it was one of the happiest days of my entire life. So you have happy tears, tears of joy, and you have tears of sorrow and tears of pain. And we remember all of those, because remember, when we first entered Egypt, we were happy. And then it slowly turned to tears of pain, right? Hold on. Hold that thought. We have to move on a little bit. We only have a few more. Lucy, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you too, Toby. So, along with the salt water, we have maror, bitter herbs. What do we eat? What do you guys eat in your traditions for bitter herbs? Yes. Horseradish, absolutely. Does anybody grind their own? You grind your own? Oh my gosh. Do you have tears in your eyes as you're peeling it and grinding it? Wow. Yes.
When you're tired, your tears.
That's right. When you're so tired and you can't move on, can't do one more step, you just have tears of exhaustion. Anybody do bitter herbs without other than horseradish?
Oh no, we just eat the bud.
Okay. So then we move from bitter herbs to charoset. Who can tell me what charoset is? Riley.
Well, I think, isn't it like purple, actually no, it's the really sweet, the sweet stuff is like pecans and stuff.
You use pecans in yours?
I think.
Mike.
I use apples and cinnamon.
Cherries. Oh yeah, apples, cinnamons, and cherries. Ellie.
We usually have apples and honey.
Apples and honey? Excellent. Who else? Lucy. And cherries too? I've never heard cherries in charoset. I love it. I think I'm going to try it. So charoset isn't very bitter, right? It's sweet. It's fun. It's like a party in your mouth. And then you add the maror into it. And then it makes it a little more sad. And it reminds us of how the Israelites in Egypt had to put the bricks together for the pyramid and what went in between the bricks. So It's also because it's made of all these yummy fruits and some nuts, is that it reminds us again of spring and life. It's all a big circle. It's actually, to quote one of my favorite phrases from The Lion King, it's the circle of life, which is symbolized by an egg.
Is that an actual egg?
This is an actual egg.
Can you crack
It's
them
real.
on? Crack them somebody's head.
No, because it's raw.
It
Create a
smells so
really
bad.
big mess. All right, so an egg. What does an egg symbolize?
Drop it.
Want me to pass? Sandy, what does an egg symbolize?
Can we pass around the egg so we spill it?
Mine. You could live a really long life. Excellent. EJ.
Also, how we could break it, see?
It can break easily. Life is fragile. Jonathan.
It's very round, like how circles and roundy circles and stuff.
We always come back to the beginning, don't we? And things in life when they're hard won't always be hard, right? We'll roll right out of the hardness and be happy again, like the Israelites were when they left Egypt. So, there's a yoke in it. What does a yoke represent? Eisen.
The yoke might represent death because of sex.
Okay, the circle of life, the death. And what's the opposite of death? Life. Life, the chick. Excellent.
Oh, a chick.
Right.
Well, on the outside, it's really, like, brittle and, like, it's hard on the outside. Like, we have an outer shell, like, we might be, we always act tough, but the inside is really soft.
Perfect. Now you know what that also represents? A modern day Israeli. A modern day Israeli is tough on the inside or outside and soft on the inside. It's like a sabra, a cactus fruit, prickly on the outside, and inside the fruit is very soft and sweet. And the last one, the shank bone, the zoa. Yes.
Mine's not like a shank bone.
Can't wait. Let's do this because we're.
Shank bone
You know what? Some people use a chicken bone because it's easier to get. Some people use.
Probably not the shank bone. That's against kosher. Of what?
Well, it could be of a lamb. It could be of a chicken.
Well, what's the shank bone?
Represent.
What's the shank bone? Actually, in real life.
It is like this part of a leg.
Of what?
Of a lamb. Why a lamb? And this brings us back to the title of our story. Abby. What do we do with them? Maya? Yes. So we painted lamb's blood on our door. It was the last plague. Isaac?
And they did it so they did it. Wait, was it the angel?
Yes.
The angel of death. If they had lamb's blood, they would pass. But if they did it, they would kill the firstborn.
Right. Now, what did you say? Pass?
They would pass the house.
Yes.
Pass over, which brings us to our holiday.
To Passover. Did you guys see how the Seder plate tells the story, like Lucy said, in a different way? Visually and by taste. Because we taste the matzah, we taste the bitter herbs, we taste the maror, we taste the karpas, right?
I have a friend named Zach, and on Passover, his
And what did he find? What was it called?
Matzah.
But what was the other name for the matzah? Who said it? Jace. Afikomen. Excellent. Good job. Alright. So, the last thing I wanted to say to you guys is in modern times, there was a woman named Heschel who added an orange to the Seder plate. And she added an orange to the Jews who were marginalized, that they were on the outside of society. Those who had different preferences, women who weren't allowed to do things like to be rabbis, men and women who loved each other, people with special needs. And then just even recently, people have put an olive on the Seder plate. And that represents, what do you think an olive represents? Marshall. You know what? That is a really good idea. But you're getting close, Maya. That could be. But an olive is a symbol of Israel. Peace between who? The Israelis and the not the Egyptians, because we already have peace with them right now. We still have a treaty. But who are the Israelis in conflict with? Begins with a P. Palestinians. Okay. So, what we're going to do now is we are going to take our Seder plates off of our heads, and we're going to make our Seder plates. And I want you guys to think your homework for when those of you who come back from spring break, and those of you who are with me, your homework is to find out what symbol in your family is a symbol of freedom. Okay? And we're going to add that symbol of freedom of your family onto the Seder plate. Yes, Eisen?
I know maybe everyone in this class has at least one.
What's that?
Eagle on the American flag.
An eagle on the American flag. Excellent. Okay, does anybody have any questions? Excellent. Thank you very much. Oh, Zoe, I'm sorry.
So, what are we going to do?
We are going to have this completely done by the last week in March. All right? Passover begins April 1st, April 2nd. Today,
I don't know if I have one. My family
7 days out, 8 days after that. So it ends on the Saturday after April 22nd. So April 9th. Yes.
That we haven't. You need to change the topic.
I know. I saw.
But most still don't have it.
Okay.
Most are
All right.
still
So